The 2025 AFL season is well and truly underway and will get going on Thursday night. So, it's 2 days out from the season beginning. I think it would be a perfect time to get my 2025 ladder predictions out. First of all, massive disclaimer. When it comes to these predictions, these are just for fun. I'm not trying to accurately predict what's going on and who I think will actually win the Pro Tour. These aren't super serious, I'm going to die by these predictions. This is just for a bit of fun with how even the competition is. There's a chance I could get all of these correct, but there's a chance I could be horrifically wrong on some of these. But that's just fun. Do a reaction at the end of the season to this, and I don't know, you can just judge me by this, I guess, all season if you really are that serious. But this is just for fun. I've used accurate data to try and pick. I've analysed every list. This is just my honest opinion of how I think 2025 will go. From the AFL Oracle himself, this is how I think the 2025 season possibly go, and I'll try and guide you to that goal. Alright, starting this list, with the number 18 spot, it's Richmond. I don't even need to go into it that much, the Tigers. Look, when it comes to their forward line, it's hurting after losing Jack Graham, the Liam Baker, the West Coast, Dustin Martin also retired, and another problem I have with what their forward line can do is the fact that Tom Lynch is someone who is seriously injury prone and has shown that he struggles to down the park. So with him out, I think they'll struggle to get their scores going. Midfield may improve with the additions of Sam Layla and Josh Smiley throughout the year, but Tim Taranto and Dion Prestia are going to have to be big veteran pieces who really guide this young midfield to where they want to go this season. Tom Brown is underrated and will be a key part, and I think you'll see more improvement from Heidi Loffman. Nick Boston and Dylan Ward should still lead this team despite the fact that they are aging. There is a worry about their defense leaking a lot of goals, but also this season is the first part of a rebuild and a long continuous rebuild for the Tigers. It's going to be a rough period for them, and they should just figure out that they got multiple flags out of this period, because I don't think it's going to be that good going for them. In 17th, I have the West Coast Eagles. I think a reason as to why I think the Eagles list isn't that good compared to others is that and they're getting there on their list. I think they're going to have a big free agency this season. But a big reason is that their defensive role players, I don't think you have a star key defender on their team. You don't have a Brendan Startzvich, a Jake Lever, Liam Jones. And the addition of Liam Baker is going to have a lot of tenacity and solid run to them. Harley Reid is big for this team, and his involvement into an overall superstar competition in the midfield is going to be a big reason as to why they could potentially steal some games this year. I also think Tim Kelly, he continues to have a few solid years at West Coast, and I think he'll continue a solid trajectory. Maybe not as good as the Eagles would have liked when he was recruited there, but still solid player. With their forward targets, Jake Waterman is the key offensive forward, but that goes into the first concern I have with the Eagles, and it's other than Jake Waterman, it's where are the goals coming from? They were one of the least high scoring teams of the season last season, and whilst the addition of Owies is going to help, I'm still a bit worried where they can get their scores from, and until they can do that, then they're going to be pretty low on their season by season ladders. Also, for their defense, I think losing Tom Barras is going to seriously hurt them. He was a key defensive pillar and one of the biggest reasons why they weren't truly giving out 130 plus a game last year. So him going is going to be a very disappointing patch for them, and they'll have to try and figure out life without him. Overall, I think, especially due to Harley Reid and some nice additions they have in the offseason, I think you'll see a better Eagles out there. But I still think in Andrew Colton's version of his coach, I still think they'll be quite close. So, 17. I'd love to move them up a lot more, but for 16, I have North Melbourne. Still at the in the lower ends, unfortunately, and I think they really should improve here. And there's a chance they do really go up on the ladder. And their management have said that they are ready to go this season, but I don't really see it. I'll start with the positives. I love what they did in the off-season, adding Jack Darling and Luke Parker through free agency. It was key pickups. A team like North Melbourne needs key veteran experience to lead them in the long term, and I think that was the perfect pickup for them. Nick Larkey is a premier key forward and is a key role, and Harry Cheezel and Jordan Wall up the non-forward midfielders will continue to add, which is that experience and punch that the midfield will have. The next great North Melbourne team, Harry Cheezel and Jordan Wall will be key parts of that team. The concerns I have though is that their best tall defender, it's Charlie Combo. And I don't think they have anyone yet who's ready to stand up and be a key defensive pillar. And if North Melbourne is going to be an elite side in a few years, they really need to try and do that. So yeah, I think their midfield is actually underrated and seriously top class. I'm just a little worried about where do the goals come from other than Nick Larkey and Cam Zerha and their defence. I'm worried about their defence leaking goals this year. So they should improve, but I've got them 16. Now, the obvious bottom three are done. So actually not that obvious. I think North could improve, but heading into the teams where from 15 to 1, no 15 to let's say 5. It's they could go anywhere, and I'm not kidding when I say that. And this team I feel could really go anywhere. I've got the Saints in 15. I guess first of all the positives. I love Asai Wakeman-Miller as a key disruptive forward, and I think they've got one of the best small forwards in the game, Jack Higgins. Severely underrated in what he does. And I think that Ron Marshall will provide strong run minutes for them as well. But the concerns I have is that I look at their list and it's I don't see any key talent coming out of it. What I mean is I don't see a game-changing talent. I think they have a bunch of good players, but not elite players or even great players on that list. Granted, Cooper Sharman, Mateus Philpott, who they have some kids coming in, Alex Toru, who end up becoming a great player, but I don't think they're there yet, which is a little bit of a concern. Another concern is that Max King is a very good forward when he's on the park. He's got the Tom Lynch problem. I can't stop relying on him to show up for the whole season. When he shows up, he's going to be injured for so many parts. You should have to bet at this point he's going to miss a few games, which seriously hurts their forward path. So yeah, another thing that really concerns me about the Saints is the fact that they've lost Josh Battle will be number. It's a hall for them. Josh Battle was the key defensive stopper for them and won pretty much most of their defensive contests throughout 2024. So I can see their defense potentially falling off without Battle. So yeah, I like the Saints to do a lot better, but I've just got a lot of concerns about them at the moment, which is why they're 15th. Heading into 14th, we have Essendon. I know, again, Essendon's another team that could definitely jump up into the 8 and could definitely perform way better than what I've placed them at, but like I just think there's a little like deficiencies in their list, and I'm not as confident in them as other sides. Like again, it's just Essendon are again a team that feels like what can go wrong will go wrong with them, and like with their defense, like Ben Mackay was brought in to like be a key defensive stopper, and overall like shore up a back line that was leaking goals in 2022 and 2023, but I don't think he had that insane of an impact in 2024. So I think he needs to rise up to a level, but like I haven't seen him yet, and I need to see more from Mason Redmond and Jordan Cripple at the moment. Zach Mera is a star in the midfield, but I'd say he's the only A-grade player that Essendon have in their team. And I think their forward line like may struggle to score some goals with Jake Stringer, I believe, in POS. I will say Isaac Paco is going to be phenomenal. He's going to be a star. But other than him and like Carl Langford, I think they just need like more players like getting shots and finding like scores, and I can't really see that. Plus there's this little like what can go wrong will go wrong with Essendon. So all that combined has me putting them at 14. Rounding out the bottom 6 of the ladder, in 13 I've got Melbourne. So obviously Melbourne are selling us after Anis Horribilis in 2024 that I think are going to be severely improved, and things are going to be like all fine and dandy. They'll be back in contention, and like the midfield and defense will be back to what it was. But like I don't know, like it's the forward line. I've still got more concerns about the forward line. Like, I think they're seriously depending on a year 3 Jacob Van Ooyen like boost in production. Like Bailey Smith is a good forward, but he isn't a key tall forward. Like Melbourne don't have, and still don't have, a key marking forward who can run contests. And like Cozzy Pickett is great, and he's like a phenomenal sort forward, but one, free agency news is gonna like go all over his season, and 2, I can see him being suspended. He's been a player who's been suspended for a lot throughout the past few years, and I can see it happening again. With Christian Petrarca and Clayton Oliver returning in the midfield is another phenomenal sign, and will be great for their production. And I think also Steve and Jack Lever, like phenomenal in defense. But like I don't know, like it's like we really need to see that the culture has like cleaned out and they've truly gotten everything like perfectly right, and I'm not that confident of God at the moment. So I don't know, they could make the 8, but I've got them in 13. Alright. In 12, I've got the Western Bulldogs. Like, I know, like, everyone is saying, like, why do I have the Bulldogs in 12? They have such a phenomenal list, and I do agree with that. The Bulldogs have one of the best lists in the game, and it's just void of star power. When your forward line's rolling out Jamara Hayden, Sam Darcy, and Aaron Norton, with Marcus Bontempelli in the midfield, it is just absolutely scary to be opposite. William Jones continues to be a phenomenal defender, and Rory Ward to defense has just been the move that has shored up this defense and has made it an actual lethal move. So why do I think they're missing the game? Simple reason, injuries. The way injuries have gone throughout this offseason for them, I'm worried about an injury crisis at the Bulldogs. I'm worried about what could come up. I think they're a team that should make it, but I think they'll just miss out on that potential because of injuries. Like Marcus Bontempelli is already out 1 to 6 weeks, and their first 4 games are not easy whatsoever. I can see them being 1-4 after 5 games. I really can. But by then, you're catching up. You're playing catch up all season long. And also, like, all the Jamara Hagan stuff going on, like, I think there's a chance he's in the Bulldogs next year, and that could, like, really damage the playing group and really hurt, like, what is going on in the playing group. So, I don't know, just, the Bulldogs have a lot of, like, a watch and, like, hope kind of aspect to them, and I don't really like it. So, for me, they are 12. In 10th, I've got Carlton. So again, like a really strong list. Like they are probably the best 1-2 forward line punch in the game in Charlie Kerner and Harry McCarthy. Like Patrick Cripps literally racked up 45 votes in the Brownlow medal to break a record, and he was just clearly a future all-time Hall of Famer who was just continuing to put up insane numbers that we should just revel in, and Jacob Wiedering and Nick Haynes lead a pretty strong defensive core. So again, it's like, why do I have Carlton missing the A? And again, it's because of injuries. Like, I'm a little worried about the depth that they have to cover such injuries that they seem to be getting in the offseason. Like, Nick Newman is a key defensive cog in their overall defensive system, and he is already out the whole year. And as much as I love Sam Walsh, I'm starting to get a bit worried about his ability to be able to stay on the field. And I feel like if they don't have him, it's like very rough. So yeah, it killed them at the end of last year. I already see it killing them like throughout this season with the injury crisis. And they got rid of their current injury stuff as well. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah. And Jagger Smith, such unfortunate news to say that he's missing the whole season as well. I was very excited to see how he was going to go as well. So overall, all of this combined has me just putting Carlton out, and it's literally just because I think bad luck is going to kill them. In ninth, I have Port Adelaide. I had them in ninth last year, and build up in roles, and Josh Sin is a capable defender who will rise up to the next level, like in the next season. And like Mitch Georgiades is another like key like forward target, and they've got such creative smallers and Rory Oldham and Jace Burke. There are two reasons why I think they missed the 8 ultimately. Like, I think ultimately, like, I think there's a little bit of like confusion and a little bit of like trepidation with the succession plan. Like, instead of just giving the key straight to Josh Carr, even though he was ready for it, like, they're giving Kenny to like 1 more year, and like that like might build some confusion, like some tension of like, okay, is it ready to be like Josh Carr's team, or is like can he be by the end of the season if they're like cross they are, they just be like ready to just relax and just kind of just call it. So, and I get that feeling from him overall, and it just feels like the way the Hindley era has gone, them missing the 8 would be an interesting like end to it, and would probably be the most fitting end to it. Also a bit worried about their defensive depth and like how they can like actually their forward depth. We're worried about their forward depth and like how they can go to kind of like without like a true elusive key tall now that Charlie Dixon is retired. So yeah, like what I like should be a good team, but just a little bit of trepidation on them has me seeing them finish out, right? Now, on to the top 8 throughout this season. Starting with the team I have finishing in 8th, and I know everyone is going to instantly like start wondering why I put them in and like how they got in, but I had the Adelaide Crows in the 8. I had them in the 8 last year, they didn't make it. This year, I'm doing it again. The Matthew Nicks do not let me down. I'm doing it again. Why not? But like, there are 2 like main reasons as to why I actually can see like a legitimate growth. First of all, there is statistical reasoning as to why the Crows make the 8. In every season since 2013, there has been a common case of at least one, and especially since 2021, since of one bottom 6 side jumping into the 8 next season. There's always one that just shocks everyone. And it used to work last year with Hawthorn. No one thought they'd make it, and they made it all the way to a semi-final last year. So, yeah, and like I backed off between Adelaide and Melbourne, to be honest, on which team it was going to be that I had in, and I just ended up leaving. But like another reason, like big reason, is their forward line. I think their forward line is an undercover beast, ready with Taylor Walker, Darcy Fogarty and Riley for being like key targets, and Isaac Rankin being small, but I think Alex Newell is the like key piece they finally need to just start connecting that forward line all together and start becoming a rampant scoring machine. Like one that is very hard to stop. You obviously have Jordan Dawson, who is a phenomenal captain, and Matt Crouch and Rory Laird will continue to be key possession getters for this club. But you also have a phenomenal defensive back line. Or rather, it's a rising defensive back line. These aren't names you know yet, but they will be names you know in the future. Dan Curtin, Max Michaelani, Luke Curtis, Mark King will become defensive pillars for this side and will be a key reason as to why they are able to win enough games to qualify for finals. Again, it's a gamble, it's a statistical gamble, but I'm going for it. Do not let me down, Matthew Nicks. In 7th, I've got the Fremantle Football Club. I think they'll qualify this time. They were severely unlucky to qualify last year, and I think the got one of the most solid lists in the game. Like, I think Shea Bolton is going to be such a massive key recruit as a small forward, and they also finally have that tall forward that have been begging for since Matthew Pavlich retired in Jai Amos, which Josh Tracy can go along with. Cam Sorong and Andrew Brayshaw continue to be key, will continue to be key disposal getters across the ground, and not only are disposal getters, but lead to goals, which is so important. With also the big 1-2 pump ruck combination in Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson. Luke Jackson being able to go not only in ruck but forward at any time. They also have one of the best defenses in the game with Luke Ryan, Alex Pearce, and Jordan Clark leading the way in phenomenal fashion. Overall, I think this team is one team that on paper has all 3 lines secured and ready to go. Justin Longmuir's team is playing with a much more exciting forward structure. There is no reason as to why the Fremantle Dockers do not play finals in 2025, and have got them in 7th. In 6th, I've got the GWS Giants. Now, on original drafts, I actually had them out of the 8 entirely. I thought their choke job in the finals was going to be so bad, it affected them for the whole season this year. But then I saw like clips of Adam Kingsley egging on, talking about the semi-final and just the way he went about it and how the players have gone about addressing that semi-final has given me confidence back in the Giants, and I've given them back a spot in the 8 as a result. I think they'll be fine. I'm dropping them out of the top 4 because of the terrifying choke, but I think they'll still play finals. They've got the Coleman Mellis and Jesse Hogan. Their list is loaded. Coleman Mellis and Jesse Hogan. Good. 2 of the best small forwards in the game are Toby Green and Brent Daniels. Aaron Cameron, Jake Riccardi, and Callum Brown due to be key score getters. Tom Brick, Ian Still, Kenny Burr, and Finn Callahan lead a loaded midfield and will rack up possessions and get goals. With Lockie Woodfield, Jack Buckley, and Sam Taylor being phenomenal in defence. Lead the league and also shore up that line perfectly as well. And this is a very strong list. It is way more of a mental game. What overall GIS will do throughout this season, but ultimately I think they'll just be fine, and I think they'll fall on 6. In 5th, I have last year's defeated grand finalists, the Sydney Swans. Another team that I definitely did debate myself on whether I put them out of the game or not. I ultimately decided that they have such a good list. They should be fine. I think they can go fine for the finals still. Running over that list, I think they've got the best midfield in the game. No doubt about it, they have the best midfield in the game. Shad Warner, Errol Goulden, Isaac Heaney is the 1-2 punch that is so scary, and they have just phenomenal depth in that midfield. Taylor Adams, James Rowe, James Jordan, and Brody Grundy in the ruck. It is a midfield you die for as a fan, and will be a big reason as to why they win so many games, because those 3 on their depth increases, they not only rack disposal, but they score as well. Jake Boyd, Tom McCartney, and Dan Rampy will continue to be solid defensive pieces. There is a concern about their forward line, because whilst Tom Hackley's a good small forward, most of their goals did come from their midfield throughout last year, and Joel Marty and Logan McDonald, they can come up, but they haven't been fully consistent. For Sydney to hit the true next level of contention in year 1 of Dan Cox, I think Joel Marty and Logan McDonald need to become super consistent pieces as key forward structures. Sydney's list is loaded. It is prime for another tilt. Just the scars of last year's grand final have me dropping them to point where they aren't like in the top 4, but I think they'll still make finals. Now, heading into the top 4, I have Collingwood in 4th. Now, early explanation, because the Pies did miss finals last year. They weren't a part of the finals last year, yet I have them in 4th this season. Every season, there is a team that jumps into the top 4 after missing finals the previous year. And like out of the two, like it was between Collingwood and Freo, what team I would choose out of them, and I just ended up leaning towards Collingwood. Mainly because I don't really trust Freo that often. I trust Collingwood in way more. And I think there is reason to seriously think they improve. One of the biggest reasons as to why Collingwood missed finals last season is because their defensive players just had a terrible season. Darcy Moore, Isaac Claymore, and Brandon Mayer just had absolutely like horrific seasons by their standards, and like Collingwood ended up tying 12 for points against for the whole year. They were seriously missing the like playmaking ability and like the kicking ability of Nathan Murphy, and I think they got it with Dan Houston. A kicker with lively who can transition and forward and like get their run players they had in 2023 going. And I think Tim Membry might be a solid pickup for like Collingwood were begging for a forward option somewhere, and I think Membry could end up being a piece who does it. And overall, another reason why I thought Collingwood weren't that good last year is because I just thought their board struggles were like very, like what was going on with Jeff Brown, their pregnancy was extremely worrying. And overall, I thought it would distract them throughout their season, but they've got a new fresh slate this season. It feels like the kind of like go lucky, feel free culture from 2023 is back heading into this season, and I'm very bullish on them. Like obviously in their midfield, like I don't need to explain just how good Nick Dacos is, but they have Jack Harris, Pat Kavinsky, and like the two stalwarts in Steel side role, and Scott Pendlebury will continue to be strong for them. Jordan De Goey having a strong bounce back season is going to be another key part in why they are top 4. Overall, like there's a lot of like things that have to go right, but it's like it's logical these can go right in my brain. So for me, I think the Pies bounce back big time. I think they'll be top 4. Now the team that I have in 3rd, the glamour team of last season, the big up and comers, Hawthorn. I'm very high on the Hawks, but I'll say right now, they're my pre-season premiers. My premiers for this season are Hawthorn heading into this. Like their team are just like, it's not only exciting, it's loaded. Like the fact that their best defensive player can go forward now and might play forward for the whole year in James Sicily is just so low. Tom Braxton, Josh Battle will be phenomenal recruits for them. Sam added with the defensive depth of Sam Frost, Carl Hayden, and Jack Swift in short. Dry Luke will continue to be just a phenomenal disposal getter, and he is damaging with his kicks in the field, which is just so worrying for other teams. With Will Day and Josh Ward and James Warble also being with them, and their forward line worrying. Like you'll see a lot of what I like to call the rascal trio. Jack Irvin, Nick Watson, Connor McDonald will provide matchup nightmares for so many teams, along with Carl Shadir and Marvin Scholl to be direct forward targets. They have so many ways to get into goal, so many ways to stop you, and an elusive ball getter. Like Hawthorn under Sam Mitchell have built a package, and they are the team I am most excited to watch as an AFL event this season. 4 is back, and it's going to be so exciting to see what happens. Oh, I know some people who think they'll fall, but I'm not one of them. I think they rise. This is the rise of Hawthorn this season, and the only reason I don't have them finishing top is because of home ground advantages with Geelong and Brisbane playing games at GMHBA and the Gala. But just Hawthorn, such a good team, and like you'll see it throughout this season. They're good. Now in seconds, I've got Geelong. Overall, one of the easiest predictions I can make this season was Geelong top 4. Like, I didn't even think about it. Geelong top 4 was an obvious pick in my mind. Like, everyone said their midfield, like, isn't that good? It probably cost them a premiership last year. Well, Bailey Smith is going to come in and fix everything with that midfield, and he's going to make it maybe not like elite, but somewhat powerful with Tom Atkins, Max Holmes, Ollie Dempsey will continue to be a strong target, and Tanner Brewer adding to it, along with the leader chip of Patrick Dangerfields. They have one of the best home grounds in the game at GMHBA and will rarely lose at GMHBA Stadium. Such a phenomenal culture under Chris Scott, and they are just a team you can rely on to win year after year after year, and I think it'll happen again. Don't need to explain just how good a forward Jeremy Cameron is, or with Tyson Stendhals, Ollie Henry and Brad Coast being phenomenal targets. And they can go up to another level if Shannon Neal and Sean Manor hit a level I think they can with their overall forward craft. Tom Stewart, Jack Henry and Dawson Humphries can lead a strong defense that will just continue to be very crucial and very stingy in opposition scores. Like, this is such a well-run team. They can be boring in the way they consistently win all the time, but they will be in their eyeballs to another premiership of the Long Cats in 2025. And finally, first place on the ladder for the second straight year in the ladder prediction, and not really a surprise, I've got Brisbane. There was a little worry about them as now reigning premiers, like how do they go, how do they deal with being the hunter, not the hunter, but I think they'll do just fine. The big thing to me is they were missing so many key players. They were missing Oscar McInerney, they were missing Gideon Coleman, and they still won the premiership. So they get them back, they actually have a normal run. They're gonna win so many games. Like, it is so scary. And I think they'll do just fine with Joe. Another worry is how they go about Joe Danaher, as he was another such a crucial forward target for them to go to. But I think they're ready to put Eric Hipwood in the rough at points if required, and they still have a phenomenal cast forward in Kyle Oden, who can just hit the scoreboard at any time at such will. Their midfield is loaded and filled with possession. Lockie Neal, Will Ashcroft, Hugh McConaughey, Josh Dunkley, Jasper Fletcher. It is an insane midfield. It is one that will lead to scores on the board. Once again, they are a team that will just score at will if you let them. And another team that and they're not scared of the MCG anymore after that last run, having won 2 finals at the MCG. So they're a well-travelled team. They play phenomenal at the Gabba, and they have just a phenomenal defense led by Harris Andrews. Brandon Starcevich is the only player who can actually go on small and negate them, as seen by his work on Tom Packler in the grand final. And Dane Zorko and Jack Payne will continue to be phenomenal pillars in the defense. So they are just loaded all across the board, and absolute scary force to have to go through. They are the Brisbane Lions, they are the reigning premiers, and I think they're in for another good year, maybe even a back-to-back. So that is my 2025 AFL Ladder Prediction. Post in the comments what you think about them, and just remember, it's a lot of fun. I also have a TikTok page now that I'm planning to add some updates to, so if you could go and follow that, I'll add in the description, and see you guys on Thursday or Friday night for the opening game of the season, and go footy.